This is the 2025 Infiniti QX80 Sensory. Is it the best luxury full-size SUV? Hey everybody, it's Tom from Vehicle Visionary. I hope you're having a great day. Today I'm at Infiniti in Shreveport, Louisiana. We're going to go over the particulars on this fully redesigned QX80. If you want to know more, check out the link down in the description of the video. The biggest change when it comes to the exterior is definitely going to pop when you look at the front end. You can't miss it because you have the new full LED lights as far as your daytime running lights go. The turn signal indicators are also going to be LED. You'll have your LED headlights that are going to be located right down here, low beam and high beam. And then we're going to have our active air curtain right here, so big that I can stick my hand pretty much all the way through. And we're going to have our bamboo forest grille. A new look here with that. There is your logo, kind of a 3D look there with the Infiniti logo. And I almost feel like I should be playing a piano here because it looks like piano keys as far as that goes. But for those of you who are not big fans of chrome, you have a brushed aluminum look finish to the surround here as far as the trim goes. This model is four-wheel drive, so it's going to be helpful to those of you that are living in an area where you're blanketed with snow right now, as a lot of the country is. I'm grateful we're not at the moment here in late January in Northwest Louisiana. How about our tire and wheel setup? We're looking at 275 on the width, your tread width, your 50 series sidewall, and those are 22-inch wheels. And we'll work our way up here, a little bit more of that brushed aluminum surrounding this area. There is some gloss black here, but I think that's placed in the right area, as is what we have on the mirror. Body colored mirror caps, turn signal indicators built into these power adjustable side view mirrors. They're heated, they're power folding. All of that's going to be here. In fact, I'm going to push the button right there, and when I do, you can see the power folding functionality in action. You have the deployable door handles. I have the ignition on right now. I will show you how that works shortly, but you'll see while I have the ignition still on with the vehicle in just a few seconds. We'll have our affixed in place assist steps, nice large windows. That's always a good thing, makes it very easy to see. We're gonna have, again, that brushed aluminum back here all the way to the rear. It wraps its way around. LED tail lights. This is why I have the ignition on, so I can show you the lighting. And you'll notice that the same way as we had those piano key, the look with the front end, you also have that same design back here with the tail lights that are consistent. There's no break here with the lighting. All of that is illuminated. I hope that shows up correctly on the screen so you can see it. There's your QX80 logo. As I mentioned, it's also four-wheel drive. And here is your remote lock, unlock. You've got your button right there to open and close the power tailgate. Your panic buttons down here. And I know one thing a lot of you like right there, remote start. And as I mentioned earlier in the video, you can see those deployable door handles doing their thing as I walk up to the QX80. Another big change for 2025 is what you find under the hood. And it has received mixed reactions. I'll be curious to see what you think. It is now going to be exclusively powered by a 3.5 liter twin turbo V6. It makes 450 horsepower and 516 pounds-feet of torque. All of that will be mated to a 9-speed automatic transmission. So what about your MPGs? I know a lot of you like to know about that. Let's get this area of the window sticker in the sun. 16 city, 19 highway, 17 combined, and 5.9 gallons of gas per every 100 miles driven. Your gas tank is capable of holding 23.6 gallons of gas. In the city, you should be able to drive 377 miles, and on the highway, on a full tank of gas, you should be able to drive 472 miles. If you just bought your QX80 and you're wondering where the button is of the many ways to open your power tailgate, there is the button that allows you to do that right there. You can also use the remote. There's a button on the interior as well. You can tow up to 8,500 pounds, and depending on how you configure things back here, we're looking at 22 up to 101 cubic feet worth of cargo capacity. Now, one thing I like here is that you'll notice all I did was push those buttons one time to lower these power rear seats. The same thing goes with bringing them back up into the upright position. And then I'll use these front buttons right here to lower the middle seats down. Notice they're a little slow to go down, but you know what? They're going down, no big deal. Very easy to deal with. I know a lot of you like to see how things look with cargo capacity maximized, and that is what we have right here. You'll also find some cargo space underneath the floor right here. And there is a spare tire located underneath the rear right here. That makes things nice and easy to deal with. And show you a little bit more of what is here. We have a power outlet right here if you need to power anything. That makes life easy. We also have a panoramic sunroof. And something else that I like here is that all you have to do is push those buttons again and you can raise the middle row seats. You don't have to do that manually, and obviously that's going to be the same with the rear seats. Here is one more important tip for you. If your tailgate doesn't open as wide as you want it to all the way, or maybe you need to change the height. Maybe you're in a situation where having it opened all the way to full capacity is too much. How do you change that? Well, you'll notice that I have it lowered down a little bit. So let's say I wanted to raise it all the way up to its maximum opening capacity. All I'm going to do is push it into the position where I want it to be, and then I hold the button down and I listen for the beeps. That button right there. So next time I open this tailgate back here, it's going to open to where I just set it. Let's see what your second and third row passengers are going to find. Plenty of room with the armrest. I always like it when it's nice and flat like this. And again, more room with the door bin right here, bottle holder in the front. And you can see what type of audio system we have here. A very good audio system here. 24 speakers total, including being built into the headrest of the driver and passenger seats. I wonder why we haven't seen that in the second row, at least, just yet. You will find power seats for the middle seat passengers. These can move back and forth. You can see that right there. I'm going to move that all the way up just so you can see how far up that goes. Pretty easy to deal with as far as that is concerned. One other little trick I wanted to show you, and that trick has to do with a question somebody asked. Apparently, most people who make videos on these vehicles tend to get into the third row from the driver's side over there. So they wanted to see that you could do that here from the passenger side. So I'm going to show you real quick. We're going to get that seat up and out of the way. Yes, you can easily gain access to the third row here with that passenger side seat. Makes things nice and simple. And here is what your passengers are going to find in the third row. Cup holders right here. Also a USB port. It will be the same way on the passenger side. And there is a reasonable amount of headspace. I like the positioning of the air conditioning vents right here at the passenger's face. That's good. And oh, crap handles in the third row. I can't say I've seen that anywhere before except in the QX80. So that's very interesting. How about leg space? Here's what we have. Now, keep in mind, this seat is all the way back on the passenger side. The seat over here on the driver's side is all the way forward. You can see that I have a ton of leg space. It's very comfortable. There's also a couple of USB ports in the center console for the middle row passengers and a couple of cup holders. And I did open the shade for the panoramic sunroof. That front portion will open. By the way, you can recline these third row seats, and that's done on each side via the button right here. There's one right there on the passenger side, and there's also one over here on the driver's side. The captain's chairs here in the middle do recline quite a bit, as you can see. They have the fold-down armrest built in. Let's see how comfortable that actually is. A little bit short, in my opinion, but that might work for most people. That's what we have. And we're going to find the grab handles at the doors. I like that for getting in and out. Makes things a lot easier. There's going to be one at all four doors. And we have our command center here for the third zone of climate control back here. You can see that you can control fan speed, temperature. Everything is here. You also have heated and ventilated seats for the middle row passengers. That's nice to have. Not for the third row at this point, but you never know what we might see in the future. Connectivity down here underneath all of those controls in the way of a USB, a couple of USB options, and a 12-volt power outlet. And a big question to be answered here on this Sensory trim level: what is the sticker price at or Acura? $102,640. Tell me what you think about that down in the comments section. And we'll find fully adjustable seats for the driver and the passenger. Here in the front seat, not only do you have those speakers built into the headrest that I mentioned earlier in the video, These are also going to be heated, ventilated, and have the massage function. There's even a control on the side of the seat that allows you to decrease or increase the bolstering here. So that's very helpful, very useful. We'll go over here to the driver's side door panel and take a look at our seat memory settings, which, by the way, are also over there on the passenger side. I always like that. That's always a good thing. Makes life a lot easier for everybody that way. You saw the controls here for your side view mirrors. Now here's where you lock and unlock the doors. Here's where you control which mirror you are adjusting, and everything for your your power windows and locking or unlocking those windows. And I'll show you some of the other features that are here. You have a power adjustable via this control right here, tilt and telescopically adjustable steering wheel, and everything over here for your cruise control. You're going to have adaptive cruise control and a nice look, I must say. Again, that similar with the hash marks, the piano style look, piano key look that we saw on the front and rear lighting areas, the front grille and the rear lights back there. Also here on the steering wheel, very comfortable, by the way. And via the steering wheel mounted controls over here on the right, if we start arrowing back and forth, you can see what you can do. You can bring navigation up if you want to do that. We can also go through some of the other features, all-wheel drive torque, if you want to see that. You can see what's going on with the vehicle. Quite a few things going on here as far as your different features and functionality go. We can go into our settings and make a lot of different changes, see what's going on depending on what we want to do. We can do those different things. Vehicle settings. I'm not going to go into great detail on all of this, but I did want to show you what all is here, and then we can arrow our way back out of that. You can see what's going on. It's so easy to deal with that you really don't need me to show you that. You could figure this out on your own very, very easily. Over here on the right-hand side of the steering column, your control for your front and rear window wipers. And then over here, the control for your lights and your turn signal indicators. And for those of you that are saying, what? Turn signal indicators, do you only get that on vehicles that have a six-figure price tag? Believe it or not, it's standard equipment on all vehicles, but some drivers would lead us to believe differently because of the way they drive. Yes, it's okay to laugh. I always have to say something about it. Here is our rear view camera mirror. Now you can use the mirror as a conventional rear view mirror, but if you need a little bit of help, you can't see out of that rear window back there, maybe you have some passengers or some large piece of cargo that's obstructing your view, there you go. Now that flickering effect that you see has to do with my camera. It's not really happening, so we're going to get rid of that for the moment. And remember I told you that you can open and close that power sunroof up there. First of all, here is the control for your shade, which I drew forward so you could see how that looks, and we can decrease the lighting here. And here is the control for opening and closing the glass itself. And you have something that maybe isn't so fancy, but is definitely nice to have because I'm seeing this in fewer and fewer vehicles these days, and that is a sunglass holder. And we'll work our way to the infotainment screen. A nice, clean look, very easy to deal with, very easy to use. And as you can see, all I have to do is scroll my way through and just swipe across the screen depending on what I want to see. You do have a built-in dash cam, by the way. In case you were curious about that, there you go. You have the front view and the rear view right there. You can increase the size and see whatever you want to see with either one. That makes it nice and simple. You can take a photo, you can record an event, you can go into your file menu right here. We don't have any files to look at, so we won't, well, I say we don't, but maybe there are some in here, I don't know. But it's not that we really need to see that necessarily. And to get out of that, all we have to do is go right here, and I'm going to go to a different screen, but you can see that it has a different look, but some of the same features are here basically. You have Google Assistant, so you can say, hey, yeah, I'm not going to do it, I promise. Some of you thought I was going to, and I was about to set off devices in your homes. That would have been funny, actually, to do that. I could do that as a prank, but you might turn the video off. The Play Store is right there if you want to go in and use that and get some new icons, whatever program you want. If you want something to see the weather or whatever, something that's not here, you can go in and find it there and download that depending on what you want to do. Pretty easy to deal with, pretty easy to figure out. We can hit our home button right there and go home. We can go into settings right here, depending on what we need to see with connections and all that good stuff. There's vehicle right there. You can see everything that is here. I'm not going to go into great detail again, just to kind of show you some of the things that are here. But in case you were curious, there you go. Now, one thing I did want to do is we can come down here and push the camera button right there. And you can see the multiple camera views that we have. I like the overhead 360-degree view that we have. Here are some of our other views that are here as an option depending on what you need to see and where you need to see. Very nice. I like what has been done here. We can also take a look all the way around our QX80 depending on the angle where you need to see. If you want to see from the front, whatever you want to do, and you can actually do that right here on the screen as well. It's actually faster to do it that way, or you could just hit your options right there. Very simple, very easy to deal with. I like that nice modern technology that is not complicated or difficult to learn. And down here, we're going to have our button start and stop the engine, the controls for the radio. There is the volume knob. You can turn that on and off, and you can surf between stations right there or whatever you're listening to. Now, everything is controlled within a screen, as you can see. It does have haptic feedback. Maybe you can hear this. Let's see. So you know you're doing something. It's basically the same thing as pushing a button. But you can see that everything is here for controlling your heated and ventilated seats. You can turn on your front and rear window defoggers. You can control the rear climate control if you want to from right here. Let's see if I can get that to work for me. There we go. Just need to push a little bit harder, but you can see what's there where all of that is concerned. Temperature, fan speed, it's all here. And one thing I like to get feedback on is the shifter. Here is your shifter. So this is what we're going to push to go into reverse. You'll see that your cameras come back up once again. Neutral is right here. And then you're going to have drive right there. You push the P to go back into park. So I'm curious to know what your thoughts are where all of that is concerned. Is that something you like? Or maybe not. Maybe it's indifferent for you. I guess it just depends on who you are. And something that's practical right here, but it is here, so I might as well show you, is going to be your glove box. Plenty of space with the armrest and the door bins for the front seat passengers. And then right here, we're going to have some space with our phone charger, our wireless phone charger concealed away right there. A couple of USB options, and our cup holders are here. We also have the space here within the center console. Actually, quite a bit of space where that is concerned. A lot of space here, very comfortable, large interior, but I know one of the big questions is, what is it like to drive? Let's get out on the road and we'll find out. Before we go on that test drive, I did want to show you one more thing, and that is going to be right here, that we have the vanity mirror. We also have the lighting up here, and let's do the visor test and see what we're going to have where that's concerned. I like that the visor goes all the way back. That makes a big difference. If the sun is on the side of your vehicle, that's helpful. All right, here we go on the test drive. And one thing I noticed right offhand is that it's really quiet in here. And I know that's likely difficult for you to hear based on my lapel mic, but I can tell you the driving experience is nice and quiet. The ride quality is comfortable. The seats themselves seem to be comfortable as well. As we wait for somebody who stops to turn before they turn, now we can get on down the road a little bit, hopefully. Now, you might wonder about acceleration with this V6 compared to the V8 from the previous generation. Definitely not a problem. I know a lot of people are saying, man, I wish they'd kept the V8, but unfortunately that was not the case. But if you need to tow, whatever you need to do, you're definitely going to be able to get the job done here with this 6-cylinder engine under the hood. A lot of automakers obviously seem to be doing away with their V8s. Jeep apparently did away with turn signal indicators, as evidenced by that Jeep that just turned or changed lanes in front of us with no blinker. I'm sure it wasn't because the driver didn't use it. It's just because the option wasn't there. Maybe they couldn't afford it when they bought that Jeep, the Gladiator. But one way or another, a lot of great features here. With or without the V8, you know what? I think it does a good job. It gets the job done. You get down the road, you can get up to speed as you need to, no problem. Plenty of room. Now, depending on who you are, you can set the seat and the steering wheel to be comfortable to your liking, to whatever you need. And when I say that, what I mean is whether you're the person who's maybe 5 feet tall, maybe a little bit below 5 feet tall, or you're in excess of 6 feet tall. Plenty of room, plenty of headspace, no shortage of room here in the interior. That's always nice to have, and that really goes into all 3 rows. The rear seating area, normally third row of just about every 3-row SUV, seems to be a little bit cramped to some degree, but that's definitely not the case here. One of the more comfortable and spacious third rows that I have seen or experienced in any size of SUV. Everything is easy to get to for the driver, from the driver's seat, as it should be. Plenty of room to move around. You don't feel cramped. I like that. I would like to see physical controls for the air conditioning, but it seems that some automakers are going away from that. What do you think about that? I'm curious to know. When it comes to managing the gas and the brake pedal, definitely no problems where that is concerned. That's always a good thing. The brakes were very easy to adjust to. The gas pedal is very responsive to the touch of my foot, and the steering is nice and responsive. And while you have a large SUV, you still have a tight turning radius for the size of the vehicle. You're able to maneuver it around as you need to. And one thing that I noticed here is that it doesn't necessarily feel like I'm driving a full-size SUV. It feels maybe a little bit smaller. That's good for some people because you don't want to feel like you're driving a bus. That is definitely the experience where this model is concerned. And there it is, the 2025 Infiniti QX80 Sensory. Is it the best luxury full-size SUV? Tell me what you think down in the comments section. I'm curious to receive your feedback. I do want to say a special thanks to my friends at Infiniti for loaning me this QX80 for the day so I could tell you all about it. And a special thanks to all of you for being kind enough to give me the opportunity to give you a vision for your next vehicle. If you enjoyed this video, please be sure to hit the like button. That's very helpful to me. Make sure to subscribe so you don't miss any future videos. And make sure to share this video, if you would, on your timelines on social media so other people can see it. I would greatly appreciate that. If you would like to learn about additional vehicles you may wish to consider purchasing, check out the video that's on the screen right now, and I'll see you there.